Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new World of Warcraft Let's Play series where I am continuing my adventures in the world of Azeroth, where so far on my channel I have played a ton of vanilla, but today I am moving into the Burning Crusade a little bit, where I want to go ahead and start playing on a new race and a new class. And if you want to learn more about this Let's Play series, go ahead and stick around a little bit and I'll chat about it, and I'll also throw some stuff down in the description if you want to read that as well. But I just finished up playing two different characters, a Dwarf Paladin and an Orc Shaman, the Dwarf Paladin being on the hardcore version of World of Warcraft. And I have played 6 different races and 6 different classes, where today I want to go ahead and check out the Draenei, as I suggested at the end of my Orc Shaman Let's Play series, where the Draenei are a very cool race and are one of the 2 first races added to World of Warcraft after vanilla in the first expansion, the Burning Crusade, where I just want to play through the Draenei starting experience and basically just play through the first 2 zones in the series and basically just call it good there once I complete the story of these 2 zones, because we basically get funneled into the rest of the world that I've been highlighting already. And then there is Burning Crusade content that I have highlighted on my live streams. But as we play a Draenei, of course we have to pick a class, where I am playing on the modern version of WoW, which I'll talk about a little bit in a bit, but I want to go ahead and play a warrior, which is maybe the most basic class in the game, at least from a lot of people's perspectives, but it's not a class that I played in a series yet, so I thought I would highlight it here. And warrior is kind of special to me because it is the first ever class in World of Warcraft that I played, but we can go ahead and customize our character in a variety of different ways. And of course, since we are on the modern version of World of Warcraft, this does look a little bit different compared to how it would be in the Burning Crusade. But I think this looks pretty good for what I want to go for on this character. So we are a Draenei Warrior, and I can go ahead and pick a name and we can enter the world of Azeroth.
Empowered by the holy light and the undying strength of their convictions, the Draenei led the charge against the demonic Burning Legion in Outland. Now, with the Legion's defeat, they have completed the desperate mission that first brought them to Azeroth. Though some Draenei were sent back to Outland to revitalize their former civilization, the majority have vowed to remain and uphold their sacred commitment to the Alliance. Driven by a powerful vision, the immortal prophet Velen believes that a great war between the darkness and the light is fast approaching, and that Azeroth will be its principal battleground. As one of Velen's chosen, you must stand bravely before the shadow and ensure that your people are ready for the war to come.
And here we are in Ammon Vale, where something really quickly about that cutscene is that cutscene was introduced in the Cataclysm expansion, and it is not the original Burning Crusade cutscene, and it talks about the events of the Burning Crusade, and it basically kind of like says what happens after the Burning Crusade, but then we come here where this is the beginning of the Burning Crusade. So it's kind of confusing for new players, but that is basically what is going on. But we can go ahead and begin our questing experience, where we survived this crash here, where the Draenei ship that we saw at the very start of that cutscene crashed here in Azeroth as the Draenei were fleeing Outland, and they have basically made landfall here, where if you look right here, we are on the western coast of Kalimdor, on the special islands off the western coast to be more specific, where we are basically in a brand new wilderness and we have to survive. And since we literally just crashed like a few minutes ago, I think lore wise, we are going to have to basically help out with rescuing any survivors and kind of like building up some camps, where we can go ahead and turn in this quest and we can acquire some vials of moth blood. So we can go ahead and begin the first act of combat in this series, where we are playing a warrior, which is a basic martial fighting class, where currently we have a shield and a sword, where we can go ahead and just hit enemies over and over, and eventually they will die as we strike them with our sword, or a variety of other weapons that we can unlock in the future. Where warriors have a very special mechanic here called rage, which is very similar to the druid bear form rage, And this is basically just like kind of like an energy bar that we fill up as we deal damage to enemies, and we can use this energy in order to use a variety of different attacks. So currently we have Slam. Slams an opponent causing 24 physical damage, so it just instantly deals some damage to an enemy. And we just leveled up to level 2 and unlocked a brand new skill, which is Charge. Charge to an enemy dealing 4 physical damage, rooting it for 1 second. So this is kind of nice because warriors are a bit of a slower class. You know, they're wearing heavy armor and they're kind of just running around trying to swing at people. But this is a nice movement ability to basically just charge towards an enemy, and it stuns them, and then we can just deal some quick damage with the Slam ability. And then we have the Gift of the Naru, heals the target for 20% of the caster's total health over 5 seconds. And this is a special Draenei Warrior ability, where if we come into our, not that one, I forget, talent and spellbook here, and we come into the general tab, we have a few different racial passives here, where this is our racial ability, but we can increase our jewel crafting skill by an extra 5, increases our strength, agility, and intellect by 1, which scales with our level. We know how to communicate in Draenei, and we take less shadow damage. Whereas go ahead and kill one more Veil Moth, and we can go ahead and turn this into the quest giver over here. Whereas we run over here, let's go ahead and explore our settings really quickly, where I can come into my options, and I want to go ahead and click Autoloot, so we will automatically loot any loot from our enemies. And I want to come into my action bars, and I'm just going to add a couple of extra action bars because we are going to unlock a variety of different skills as we progress through the game here. But we have completed, I guess this is technically our second quest, but we can turn that in, and we got these wrist plates, which are equal to the one we currently have, but is worth 1 more copper, so we could go ahead and sell that. But we can deliver the bundle of vials to Zaldun at the crash site, which is way over here in this area, where this entire area, I guess, is technically the crash site, and Zaldun is just over here, the priest trainer, where trainers are really important in World of Warcraft up until like Mist of Pandaria, I think, where they are obsolete. And if you try to talk to like our warrior trainer, we don't really have too many options, because we will just automatically learn our new abilities. Where let's go ahead and speak with Zaldun really quickly. And I think we are going to get a quest where we have to use our Gift of the Naru here. So let's go ahead and pick that up. And we have a couple more quests out here that we can go ahead and pick up as well from Prometheus, or however you pronounce that. Draenei have a very, very interesting name. Speak with Botanist Terex at the crash site, where that is just right over here, where we can go ahead and speak with this botanist, and we can see this volatile mutation, which is really interesting because this is like something that the Draenei brought from Outland to Azeroth, and now they're kind of just wandering around this land, and we are going to see a couple of things like that, which is fun. But turned in this quest, and we just leveled up to level 3, where we unlocked a new ability, but we can kill 8 volatile mutations, and we can go ahead and resurrect 1 survivor around here. So let's go ahead and charge in, and we can use Shield Slam to slam the target with their shield, causing damage, and it generates rage, which we can use for our Slam ability. So we got a nice combination of abilities going on here, and we have this Draenei survivor right over here. Let's go ahead and use Gift of the Naru, and it will just heal them, and they can go ahead and get up and run away where they have been healed by us. Let's go ahead and charge this way and deal with this mutation. But if you have been wondering why I am playing on the modern version of the game, because my last 6 Let's Play series has been on the vanilla version, and suddenly I've skipped ahead to the modern version of World of Warcraft, which currently is going to be the War Within expansion, is the current expansion that is live in the game. And that is because there is no Burning Crusade Classic anymore, where when I originally started this entire Let's Play series with my Human Mage playthrough, I really wanted to play through the Burning Crusade on Burning Crusade Classic servers, but unfortunately they were removed, so I'm not really able to do that. And my other option was Cataclysm, but there's a really interesting difference between Cataclysm and Modern WoW that basically is like the deciding factor for why I'm playing on Modern WoW, where in Cataclysm and in Modern WoW, the experience here is basically the same. There's different UI elements, there's like different balancing and whatnot, but largely it's kind of like the same idea. But in Cataclysm, you really out-level zones really fast. So I was playing as a blood elf character, which we will play in our next Let's Play series, but I just out-leveled all the quests, and it was kind of weird where in Modern WoW there is level scaling. So basically as we progress through this entire area all the way up to like the max level for this like entire region, which I think is going to be level 60 if we can select that, we are going to be scaled to the enemies around us, meaning it's going to be a little bit more interesting than playing on the Cataclysm servers, I think. So let's go ahead and turn in this quest, and we can pick up a couple more quests here, and we could run over here really quickly and turn in this quest as well, or we could just run over here and do this one. Maybe I'll do that first. So let's run this way. But that is basically the key reason why I decided to play this Draenei character on the modern version of WoW, just to keep it a little bit more interesting. And at the end of the day, I'm mostly only wanting to do the first 2 zones in the Draenei starting experience, where I may do a little bit more. I'll decide as we approach the end. But basically, all you can be promised for with this series is we're going to complete this zone, the Azuremyst Isle, and then we will complete this zone, Bloodmyst Isle, which should be really fun. Where I think there's only going to be 3 more, including this one, Let's Play series that I do in my Let's Play World of Warcraft series, as I approach basically everything that I wanted to do, and then as I've been doing a lot of stuff on streams as well, highlighting like Outlands, Northrend, Cataclysm, and Mr. Panori content, as well as other stuff. But we'll just see how I feel, and of course, you know, maybe 20 years from now I'll come back and do another Let's Play series. But we have some mutated root lashers all around here, where we also picked some corrupted flowers. So we can see that the crash was kind of devastating to like the lands around here, where we see that these animals and like these plants are being corrupted by all these different crystals that like fell out of the sky as the Draenei crash on this island. So that's going to be a big thing that we deal with, where there's just going to be a lot of corruption all around here, especially in the second zone. Kill this mutated root lasher, where we feel pretty powerful at the start of the game here, and we have some nice abilities that we can use to deal some damage to all the enemies around here. But we've completed these 2 quests, so let's go ahead and run back this way, where I can also do these 2 quests down here once I get over there. Let's go ahead and speak with the apprentice and the botanist here, where we just leveled up to level 4. And we can go ahead and take this, and we can go south in order to disperse this neutralizing agent in order to try to heal this lake. Where let's go ahead and run through here. Whereas we leveled up to level 4, we unlocked a new ability, Hamstring. Costs 10 rage, maims the enemy for 3 physical damage, reducing movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. So this is like a nice ability in PvP to slow down enemies, or if we're trying to run away from an enemy in PvE, we can use that. We're just leveled up again to level 5, Victory Rush. Strikes a target causing 13 damage and healing you for 10% of your maximum health. Only usable within 20 seconds after you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor. So no, there's a monk trainer here that's a panda, and that's kind of funny. But we can basically use this after we kill an enemy to basically like get a head start on the next enemy, and it's nice to like chain attacks together that way. Let's go ahead and pick up these 2 quests, where there are some owlkin over here that we can go ahead and deal with that are being corrupted by all of the crystals around here. And let's go ahead and help out with the lake as well. We have a few different items in my inventory, and I'm not exactly sure what type of gameplay I want to do. Maybe I'll equip the beat stick for now, where we also have this blunderbuss. But unlike in retail, or unlike in the classic version of the game, we cannot have both a melee and a ranged weapon equipped at the same time, so we're just probably going to stick with the melee weapon. We have a few other things around here, but we really just need to go to a merchant in order to sell all these items, and I'll probably just constantly sell a bunch of stuff, and we'll just accumulate some gold that we could spend in a variety of different ways. So let's come up here where we can inoculate some of these owlkin, and I think we want to do it against like these normal looking ones in order to prevent them from looking like the red looking ones, where I think, yeah, we can just right click on them in the modern version of the game. So there's 2, and then we need to run around this area, where I think in the Burning Crusade the mutated owlkin would attack you on sight, so then we would be dealing with them a little bit. So I guess let's go ahead and just attack one, just so we can kind of see what that is like. where we also need to find some emitter spare parts around here. So let's go ahead and keep a lookout for them. And I think there's an interesting area up here that we can find. So let's go ahead and run up this way. But I just love the design of this zone and like all the geography and whatnot. It has very fun landscaping and very fun decorations and very fun stories. But we can run through this cave. And as we run through here, we're going to come into a really big area, which is kind of interesting because there's just a lot of stuff going on in like this one area where there's like a large Owlkin population here, where of course we are doing some quests with them, but these quests are kind of short, where there's not too much going on here despite the large area. Where here's one of the spare parts. And it's kind of just interesting to see that there's such a massive area of Owlkin here, yet you just come here to inoculate a few of them and then you just grab like a spare part. But we just need to inoculate one more, and then I see another spare part over here that we can go ahead and grab, and that's going to complete this quest. Where let's go ahead and do something a little bit fun, where we are all the way over here and we have this hearthstone that we can go ahead and use to return us to Ammon Vale, and we can set this hearthstone to be at a variety of different locations, but this is just going to speed up our journey a little bit, where I'm going to be teleported right back to where we started, and I can just run back down here and turn in these quests. We can complete this quest, and then we can speak with Vindicator Aldar over on the other side of the crash site, which is going to lead us towards these quests, and then I think a new questing area that we can head to soon. I guess while we're here, let's go ahead and speak with this merchant where we can repair all of our items, sell all of our junk items, which sells a lot of stuff, and then we can save this because this will restore some health out of combat. We can eat it, and then I guess I'll go ahead and sell this, and then we have a questing item here. So let's go ahead and come back to the other side over here, where we can look in our talent and spell book, and we can see when we are going to learn new spells. So we're going to learn basically a new skill every level, except level 10 we're going to learn 3, and then as we go into a specific specialization, we will learn a variety of additional skills and spells. But let's go ahead, turn in these 2 quests. We got some pants there, and then we have 2 quests right here that we can turn in, and let's go ahead and get Elixir of Lion Strength. We can drink this to increase our strength for 1 hour, which will allow us to deal more damage, where this will increase our armor for 1 hour, which just means we take less damage. So we're not really struggling with taking damage, so let's go ahead and pick the one that will allow us to deal even more damage. And these pants are an upgrade to what we currently have and look a little bit different than what we currently have. Whereas we leveled up to level 6, we unlocked a new ability. But let's go ahead and come over here for maybe my favorite group of quests in the starting area, where as the Draenei have crashed, they have sent scouts out into different areas where we have not heard back from this scout. And let's go ahead and find out what is going on over here in this area called Shadow Ridge. And as we run up to this area, we can see off in the distance are some tents and a few different interesting red banners with this symbol in them. And this symbol is representative of the Blood Elves, where as we come over here and as we get closer to the scout, we are going to see loading in over there are some Blood Elf scouts, which Draenei are a new race in the Burning Crusade for the Alliance. Blood Elves are a new race for the Horde. But there's a very interesting story going on with these Blood Elves that we will learn a little bit as we progress through this area. But basically, these Blood Elves are hostile towards us, and let's go ahead and deal with them. Where we have this ability here called Shield Block, which you can raise our shield block and all melee attacks against you for 6 seconds. But since we are not using a shield, we cannot use it because it requires you to have a shield. So currently right now, this is basically a worthless skill, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to end up using a shield. So I might just straight up remove it from my action bar, but let's keep it for now. But all the different Blood Elves are saying something along the lines of the Draenei are not allowed to leave this valley. So it looks like the Blood Elves were sent here to make sure the Draenei cannot escape for whatever reason. but we just need to kill a few more of them, so we can use a really powerful victory rush there, and then we can go ahead and just slam the enemy a few times, where we definitely accumulate a ton of rage as we use different abilities. And currently we are mostly just using it for our hamstring, which I haven't really used yet, and then our slam. Let's use hamstring, and as we run away we can see the Blood Elf is a little bit slower, allowing us to gain some distance between us. But just slam that Blood Elf, and let's go ahead and turn in this quest, where I do have a proc of Victory Rush as shown by this buff, but nothing to really use it against right now. Alright, let's go ahead and turn this in, and let's slay Surveyor, Candris, and then inform the Vindicator about the Blood Elves. So let's go ahead, come in here and kill this leader. Let's go ahead and drink one of these elixirs so we deal more damage, and let's go ahead and equip this tunic, which is a little bit more powerful than what we had on. But as we run into here, we can see the Blood Elves are being nice to us right now, and that's just because we are in the starting zone, and in the Burning Crusade they were hostile towards us, so we would have to fight them in order to get through here. But here's the leader that we can go ahead and defeat, where she was doing something with that crystal, and we can go ahead and kill her. And we got some Blood Elf plans. These plans seem important. We should take them back to the crash site, where we have completed these 2 quests, and we can go ahead and run all the way back towards the crash site, where here's the Vindicator, and we can go ahead and continue with these 2 quests, and then we can get a new weapon here. So maybe let's pick up this 2-handed sword. I think that sounds fun. So let's go ahead and equip that, and we just leveled up to level 7, and let's speak with the technician right over here. So let's go ahead and turn this in, and it looks like she has been trying to repair this transmitter to communicate with other Draenei that may have survived from the crash, and it looks like they are able to communicate with each other now. Where she says, by the 7, or he says, by the 7 Atamal crystals, others have survived the crash. Xana, is that you? It is so good to see you again. And who do we have here? No doubt this is aid this communication possible. I give you greetings from Azure Watch. Judging by your signal, we put you just southeast of the larger part of the island we crashed onto, across the Crystal Brick River to sorry, there's a lot of stat. And she says, this is great news. Your efforts have indeed saved us, Athasel. So now we can go ahead and travel to Azure Watch, which is all the way over there. So we can go ahead and begin our journeys into Azuremyst proper, where we have completed the starting area of Ammon Vale, but there's some stuff we can do on the way over here, and there's one extra area that I want to go ahead and check out really quickly, where the introduction of the Blood Elves and the Draenei to the game were really big for a particular reason, and that is because in vanilla only Horde characters could be shamans like we were on our Orc Shaman, and only Alliance characters could be paladins. But with the introduction of the Draenei and Blood Elves, we saw the Draenei are able to be shamans and paladins, but more particularly shamans, which is really, really big because it introduced the ability for Alliance characters to be shamans, and I need to come this way. And then of course Blood Elves could become paladins, which allow Horde players to be paladins for the first time ever. And now in the modern version of World of Warcraft, we see that expanded upon a little bit more, where like dwarves can become shamans as part of the Alliance, and then Tauren can also become paladins as a member of the Horde. But because in the original versions of World of Warcraft, shaman characters had to go out in the world and unlock their totems through a variety of different quests, which is something we used to see for a lot of different classes, there were different areas around here that were important for shaman characters who were Draenei shamans to come to in order to unlock their totems, where we have the first area right over here, the Sacred Grove, which we can see there are some elementals back here fighting, and this character is telling me to go back and send a shaman this way. But shamans could come here, do a few different quests, and unlock their earth totem, and this is kind of just like a fun little area that basically only shamans come to in this entire starting area. We're to look at the new skill we unlocked. We have Pummel. Pummel's the target, interrupting spellcasting and preventing any spell in that school from being cast for 3 seconds, which is definitely a very nice ability to use, but we want to use it whenever an enemy we are fighting is casting a spell against us. So let's go ahead, keep that in mind, keep that on our action bar, and as we fight enemies, let's go ahead and try to find a good time to utilize that. But with having checked this area, I have done everything that I want to do in this area, so let's go ahead and leave the starting zone and head into Azuremyst Isle, where we have a couple quests up here that we can go ahead and pick up, and we can go ahead and just slowly make our way towards the starting zone, where we have some level 83 guards here that are very, very powerful, and just here to defeat any horde that try to come and mess with the Draenei starting in this area of the world, which I don't think really is too important anymore, or really ever too much. I guess kind of important in order to prevent some griefing. But here we have Aun, but we can go ahead and find the innkeeper in the town up here that we can see way off in the distance. That's marked by that marker right there. But we have the Ammon ford right here, which is the aforementioned river running through this entire area. And as we come over here, we have yet another quest from Dictinia, fishing trainer and supplies, where we can go ahead and learn how to fish here, but I'm not super interested. But we can go ahead and grab a net, and we can come over into this river and try to get some food for the Draenei survivors, because of course, as I've talked about, the Draenei just crashed here and they are trying to survive in this area of the world. So basically any food that we can get is going to be helpful for us, and having some fish is going to be helpful. And it's kind of interesting to see this quest, because in Outland, a big theme of the entire continent is how there's kind of a lack of food, where basically there's a big struggle amongst all of the different civilizations in Outland with trying to find food and also trying to find water. And water is an incredibly important story beat in Outlands, as I've explored in a few different streams, where part of me wants to play through Outlands on this character, but I think I'm just going to stick to the first 2 zones, and I'm not going to do any big formal let's plays of Outland, as I basically highlighted everything that I want to highlight in my streams, and I'll try to link my stream playlist down in the description. I'll try to remember at least. So if there's any particular zone that you are interested in watching, you could probably find it in that playlist, as I just play through it and chat with people along the way. Some murlocs attacking us as we are trying to do this, and they have some red snappers, which is beneficial for us. But it feels good to kill murlocs, because the first ever death that I experienced in my Let's Play series on my human mage character was to murlocs. My first ever death in World of Warcraft in general was to Night Sabers and Teldrassil, which I think there might actually be some near here. I kind of forget. But let's go ahead and come over here and grab some red snappers. And we can go ahead and turn this quest in back over here. Back at the Ammon ford, let's go ahead and chat with you, and we can go ahead and turn in this quest, and we will get some fishing supplies, but I will probably not use fishing at all. And then we can go ahead and head to Azure Watch to turn in 3 different quests, where I should maybe go ahead and throw my Hearthstone right here so we can go ahead and use that. And we can see off in the distance is the ship that the Draenei crashed on, where there's different parts of the ship that fell apart from it as it was falling down to the ground. But we can see the Exodar, which is the name of this ship. And it's really interesting to kind of see this crash ship here, and we will explore it a little bit, but there has been hints towards the Draenei creating a permanent capital city somewhere on this island, or somewhere nearby in Kalimdor. But over there we can see a Timber Strider fledgling, which is a red level enemy instead of a yellow level enemy, so it will attack us on sight if we get too close, but we should be able to handily deal with it. And off in the distance back there we can see Ammon Vale and a beautiful waterfall just falling down the mountain there. And here we can see we have arrived to Azure Watch, where we have many different quests we can turn in, and many quests that we can go ahead and pick up. So we can go ahead and hunt some of the Moongrazed stags around here in order to get meat. And then we have Cryptographer Orin right here, where we can read the Still Pine Furbolg language primer, so we can communicate with Furbolg and kind of experience what is going on with them. We'll go ahead and accept this quest, but not do it just yet, even though it's an easy quest to complete. Over here we have Dovi, this mining trainer, where we have the missing fisherman, where we can find Callan at the southeast docks of Azuremyst Isle, where this is kind of an interesting quest that we can see all the way down here. But maybe an even more interesting quest here is this injured night elf priestess, where we have this anchor right here, and we can go ahead and try to heal this night elf priestess and save her life. So we need to acquire some different medicinal herbs around here, and then we can come over here where we have this quest, which I think is going to lead us towards the Exodar. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go ahead and chat with you, where we can go ahead and deliver these orders to the Elec trainer, and this will guide us to Bloodmyst Isle, which we could start doing right now, but I'm not going to do just yet. Let's go ahead and come back this way, where we have 2 more quests to turn in. So we have the technician that we were communicating with earlier. Let's go ahead and complete this, and we can go ahead and run into here, where we have this caregiver who is this innkeeper right here, and we have beds, bandages, and beyond, where we can take this over towards the Exodar, and this will basically teach us about, let's turn this in really quickly and grab some brilliant small fish. We can bring this over here, and then we will be sent to the Exodar, I believe, and this is going to teach us about flight masters, where on this island and also on Bloodmyst Isle and then beyond in Azeroth, we have a variety of different flight paths that we can go ahead and learn, and we can come to a flight master in order to basically fly to different areas, where we can see we have unlocked a lot. We basically have everything unlocked right at the start of the game, it looks like, but we can go ahead and fly to the Exodar, but I'm probably going to do that later. We just have a wide variety of different quests all around this area that we can do, but I'm going to go ahead and begin doing them next episode, I think, where I completed the starting zone and I made it to the first proper town here as a Draenei, and next time we can go ahead and begin exploring more of Azuremyst Isle, where I hope y'all enjoyed watching this introductory episode to my Draenei, where we are going to be completing the first 2 zones as a Draenei and exploring a bunch of stuff along the way. But I hope y'all are taking good care of yourselves, and remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next time in the world of Azeroth. Goodbye.